Here we are, Anthony William, the medical medium, with two great friends right here. This is incredible. Dr. Masha Kogan, Dr. Gina Romano right here, dentists. I think we got to scoot down just a little, maybe. Hey, that's what happens when we're live. So we're talking about dental problems and everything else. I'm the #1 New York Times best-selling author of the Medical Medium series. I've helped people out throughout the years, decades, with mystery problems, help doctors out troubleshooting your cases. A little bit about me you guys know already. Started the celery juice movement, the originator of the celery juice movement, right? You guys know that. And we're drinking celery juices right now, so it's really fun. Yep. So I had them on, and I'm really lucky. Like, this is really a lucky day. It's more than a lucky day, an incredible day, because these are the best dentists I've ever known out there in the world. And I know this for a fact because they know the knowledge, they know the information. They're experts at extracting mercury fillings, and they're experts in general about teeth. All the different things that dentists don't know about, they know. And that's what happens. Just because you're a dentist doesn't mean you know a lot about teeth. I mean, is that true?
It is absolutely true.
Like, that's a really important fact right there. If you look them up, and you'll find out where the practice is, they're worth a plane flight. We're going to talk about they're worth a plane flight to get your teeth looked at, to get care for your teeth. They are worth it, believe me. Anybody wants to do that, they should. We're going to talk about mercury fillings, extracting them. We're going to talk about heavy metal detox smoothie. We're going to talk about root canals. We're going to talk about TMJ. That's the mandible joint, but we're going to talk about trigeminal neuralgia, which is a really important one, and how it's viral. So don't miss this episode. Stay on here. You don't want to miss this. This is an important day. We're going to talk about mystery teeth pain, burning gums, the fascia, all that, the jaw pain. We're going to talk about that too. We're even going to talk about the plant-based movement. How or why everybody who's vegans, the minute they get a tooth problem, it's blamed on their diet, and how that's a misconception. So if you're plant-based, we're big supporters of you. We're supporters of everybody, whether they eat animal protein or not, or whatever. We're supporters of everybody. But we're big supporters of if you're a plant-based person and you're scared and running because you got a cavity and you think maybe it's your diet. We're going to talk about how that works, why that happens. So, hey, thank you for coming, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
I'm even clapping today because this is really cool.
Thank you.
This is really cool. So basically, let's talk about that whole thing with the plant-based movement right off the running, because that's a big deal. Because I always say that when somebody on a plant-based diet gets the first symptom, say it's not even dental, but they get the first symptom, they get scared, they think I don't have protein, somebody tells them you got to go back to animal products, and they start freaking out, and they drop everything, and they just go running out of fear and everything. So, and I always say that it's sad because so what does that mean? No one with a paleo diet ever had a symptom? Nobody with a really high quality keto diet? Nobody with ever had a symptom? So where do they run? And they don't run in hide, I noticed. They don't, meaning because their diet's never blamed. Their diet's never blamed. So if you're on a keto diet, a healthy keto diet, or a new named brand keto diet, high fat diet, when you get your first cavity or you get your first symptom, it's never going to be blamed on that keto diet. It's never going to be blamed on that high protein diet. The minute you're plant-based, though, the minute you're there, bam, your whole day's ruined. Your life is just you're shifting your gears and all that. And it's really sad because what I've seen all these years, and I'm talking about 3.5 decades of this, is that it has nothing to do with the fact that you're plant-based, that you got a cavity occurring. And we're going to cover like all that in that whole area and stuff of what happens there. And then the root canals, we're going to talk about that a little later too. And so you guys see this, you hear about this though when people are plant-based, right?
Yes, we do.
I mean, when I was in dental school, people who are vegan, who eat a lot of sugar, a lot of fruit, it was always said, it's because of their diet, this and that. But I've been out of dental school for a while, and I see it in practice. It has nothing to do with the sugar. It has to do with your how you're digesting food, things that are coming back up, things that you always speak about. So it's definitely not the vegan or the plant-based diet that's doing it.
Which leads me to this thing, which I think I've talked about this. You guys know this, but our teeth are time capsules, and I mean, you're like the only dentist out there that truly know that. Time capsules means it's not what you're doing even in the moment of why you have a problem with your gums, your teeth, your jaw. It's what happened in the past. What were you eating 20 years ago? What were you doing 15 years ago? What kind of stress were you under?
Right.
Did you have acid reflux for 10 years,
Exactly.
eroding the gums? And acid reflux is one of the biggest things you guys
One
see
of
in
the
your
biggest
practice.
things
Yes.
we see it all the time. People with digestive issues have acid coming up when they're sleeping and just washing away the enamel, destroying the teeth. Digestive issues for us equals teeth problems.
And it's
Yeah.
actually the hardest to treat because anything you put on the teeth, if you're not fixing your GI, it's just it's just gonna wash everything away.
Just gonna wash away
Like Masha
again.
was saying.
Yeah, and then when you're laying down at night,
Mm-hmm.
you're sleeping, everything creeps up. So it creeps up the canal. There's something that I always say is ammonia permeability in it, and it's rotting protein, it's rotting fats in the linings of the intestinal tract. They're sitting on the linings of the intestinal tract, and it's sitting there and it's putrefying. And you got all these microorganisms feeding off of it. It's putrefying, and what you get these ammonia gases that creep up, and they're just getting into the mouth. The whole halitosis thing,
Yeah.
which I didn't even talk to you guys about, right? The whole halitosis thing,
We see
bad
it.
breath,
Yeah.
right? And people think it's
see it.
because of the mouth.
Mhm.
They think it's all because
No.
of the mouth.
It's the gut.
It's the
The
gut.
gut. It's what lives in the gut.
It's all that ammonia coming up. And then you got the acid reflux. You got the acids coming up too, eroding the gums, starting to take out the gums. And the thing is, it's one of the reasons why I say you got to do your celery juice. You have to do your celery juice. You start your celery juice now, it's going to help you later on because you're restoring your hydrochloric acid. When you restore your hydrochloric acid, you lose that acid reflux because acid reflux, they're bad acids produced by microorganisms and bad bacteria
Absolutely.
that are in the liver, that are anywhere in the gut,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's coming up.
It's coming up. The minute you start the celery juice, 3 months in, halitosis will be gone.
Yeah.
You guys will see the difference right away.
That's
It'll
incredible.
be incredible. And you'll see it and talk to your friends. They'll tell you you have no bad smell coming out because we see it all the time. We witness it.
Also, the acid erosion at night. If you have that ammonia coming up, it's bringing the pH down. And
Yeah.
when you bring the pH down, you allow bacteria to kind of grow, and that's you have to kind of get the GI to a better position and the liver to a better position in order to kind of totally get rid of your acid reflux and help with
Yeah.
your dental.
Yeah,
Your dental needs.
neutralize your bad acid with lemon water.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's important too. The lemon water. Lemon water originally was all about, you put lemon in water, you make lemonade, you make a tasty drink, you have lemon squeezed in water, and it was hydrating. That's the kind of consensus that was years ago. And then what happened was Spirit of Compassion, the medical medium information, it told me that the lemon water when I was younger flushed out the liver. So it flushed out the liver and it flushed out the toxins. And someone said to me recently, said, "You didn't start lemon water." I go, "No, people have been putting lemon in their water for centuries.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't start any lemon water thing." But what Spirit of Compassion did do, was teach people the lemon water for the first time, taught people it flushed out the liver. It flushed the liver out of all those toxins that waited there to be flushed out first thing in the morning because your liver's working all night long. So you got people with all these toxins building up all night long. They got a stagnant, sluggish liver. They're getting the acid reflux. They're getting ammonia coming up from rotting, putrefying proteins and fats in their gut, and it's leaching in their mouth. It's coming up. They're burning out their gums because of it.
See it every day.
You see it every day.
Every day.
And then what happens is all those toxins build up. If you do that lemon water every morning, and you flush out the liver and you flush out those toxins from the liver, you sweep that out, and it's going to help you get there, close. Then you bring in your celery juice, which is a big one too. And I want to ask you guys about mineral deficiencies. Like, what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about the whole mineral deficiencies? Our teeth are made of minerals. The whole bit. Like
what you were saying, basically, people could be on a specific diet 5, 7, 10 years, and everything is great. And then they switch to a diet that they now believe is better, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, my teeth are falling apart. I have all these cavities. I have gum disease. I have all this happening to me. I've got to drop this new diet right away." Because when I was doing the other diet, nothing was happening. No, it takes time for the minerals to leach out. It takes time for things to break down. Teeth are such a complex tissue. It actually is said that it's the longest to be made in utero when our moms are pregnant with us. The teeth take the longest to form. It takes the long time to break them down. So it's, as Anthony was saying, it's a time capsule. It will catch up with you, but later. So don't see it like in the moment what you're doing is what's causing the problem. It's what you've done in the past.
Yeah, see, people come into this world to begin with mineral deficient, okay, because how was mom eating? How was dad eating, right?
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
the heavy metals. Yeah, you know, I've always found that the metals, and not just the mercury fillings, those metals, not just that, the metals that we come into this world with and then we collect through certain ways. You guys can use your imagination on how you can get metals. I talk about it. There's you know, metals in pharmaceuticals, there's metals in other places, there's all kinds of stuff like that. But we can get metals in us. Antibiotics have metals in them. You know, I talk about that all the time. So, you know, when we receive all these, we build all these metals in our life, I always find that breaks down the mouth's immune system, and not even the metals being in the mouth, just through the body, lymphatic system. Our immune system starts to break down from having high amounts of metals in our liver and other places in the body.
Right.
But when we have these elevated metals, it weakens teeth. It weakens teeth's ability to stay strong, you know, to keep the minerals strong, because metals basically cancel out minerals in us. Minerals get affected because what are minerals? They're trace metals, but good ones. Minerals are trace metals, but good ones. So you got all this mercury, you got all this aluminum, you got all these other toxic metals in us, and they react to our own trace minerals with trace metals. And then those trace minerals are actually part of our teeth. And then we get the mercury fillings when we have, you know, and all that, but we can go in that in a little bit. But the bottom line is, it's a time capsule to how mineral deficient you were when you were younger.
Exactly.
And your parents too.
And your
I mean,
parents.
Like you were saying, you have to worry about what your mom was eating, what your dad was eating. It all comes down to your diet, basically.
When you guys are pregnant, you're making another skeletal system. A lot of minerals are getting pulled to make that system, so it can kind of steal from your system. So something will suffer. Either your baby's teeth or bones, whatever, or your bones and teeth. So eat some fruit when you're pregnant.
Yes.
You know, and I don't see dentists saying this out there, and it's really sad to me because they're out of touch, because this is really powerful information. You know, because it's not just about in the moment, because dentists think right in the moment what you're doing. That's what they always go after. So if you go to a dentist and you're plant-based and you're going there and they spot a cavity, oh, you got to stop that plant-based diet right away.
No.
You got to stop it right away. That's what they'll say. And they'll be like, you're obviously protein deficient, you're getting too much sugar. But sugar isn't the cause. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I want to dive into that a little bit. So you're told at the dentist office that sugar in general, like candy sugar, like all that kind of sugar is the problem with teeth problems. And then the other thing you're told is citrus. So I want to cover that a second too. So citrus. So these are the two things you'll get at the dentist office. You'll get like candy, bad sugars, fruit sugar. They'll lump it all together. We don't want to be on bad sugars. You don't want to be on candy, you guys. We know that. I mean, if you're dealing with a chronic illness or anything, you don't want to be eating candy.
Right.
But fruit sugar is an entirely different thing. You know, that's a whole nother game. It creates glucose in the body. It feeds every cell. But the bottom line is, that was a theory going all the way back that sugar caused teeth problems, because you've guys seen people eat sugar their whole life, bad sugar.
We have.
And
no problems.
And no problems with their teeth.
And the healthiest person.
I've seen this too.
And problems. I mean, we always tell our patients, eat the fruit sugar.
Yeah.
The fruit's great for you. It's good for your teeth. It's good for your body.
Good for
Eat
your
the
liver.
fruit.
Yeah.
You will not erode your teeth with sucking on lemons or oranges. It's like there is no amount of oranges you can suck on to destroy your teeth. It just doesn't happen.
You know, there's fake truth out there, and then there's real truth out there. That's how the world works. You know what I mean? There's theories that create fake truth, and then everybody runs around with it. And then you got real truth right here, and I pay dearly for bringing real truth out there. You guys know that.
Yeah.
I get my ass,
know,
kicked
for sure.
a lot. You know the whole deal out there, but when you're bringing the real truth to people, so they actually stop feeding the medical system, so they start healing, that's powerful. You know, it's funny. Real truth right here is exactly that I've seen years and years and years and years, and I've helped out over 250,000 individuals, like one-on-one over the last 35 years, like many years ago, and I've seen people eat candy, junk, cakes, sugar cubes, and their teeth be fine.
100%.
Literally, the sugar cubes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, I'll have 4 more sugar cubes here. And sucking on sugar cubes.
Yeah.
I've known people who sucked on sugar cubes. That's what they did.
Yeah.
They would pop the cubes and they did that all day long. Teeth were perfectly fine.
Perfectly
like
fine.
solid, including like in every way, shape, fashion. But how come you won't hear that from the dentist? How come you won't hear that? Like, is it because they just want to go with the flow of what the, whatever?
I think so. It's what they teach us in dental school. It's what we come out with.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then we see for ourselves what works and what is true and what isn't.
So it's like medical school. You go to medical
Yeah.
school, you come out, and you don't know why somebody has fibromyalgia. You don't know why they have eczema psoriasis. You don't have any answers. There's no answers taught in medical school on all the autoimmune conditions. There's no answers talked about lupus. There's no answers on anything. You just kind of go to school, you learn the nuts and bolts, you come out, they stamp you out, and then you have to you have to rise above with something inside of you. That's why they are the best dentists there are, hands down. That's why I'm like, bottom line, it just doesn't, because, and it's so powerful. The information's powerful that you guys got.
Well, I think as dentists and as even physicians, after you get out of med school and dental school, you kind of have to decide what's right for you. Dental school taught me the basics, but once you're in it and you start seeing that sugar doesn't cause the cavities, and you kind of have to make up your own mind that way. I think the dental community is starting to come around. I was just at a dental convention and they even were saying that citrus does not cause
huge.
erosion.
That's unbelievable.
Which
You
is
would
huge.
not hear that
That's
when I was in dental school. It was if you had erosion on like the outside parts of your teeth, you were sucking on lemons. It was the oranges. It was this.
It was that.
But not anymore. So I mean, we're coming around, and I think
around.
with your help and just kind of getting the word out there, but it takes time. It's you have to change an old way of thinking.
Citrus is so high in calcium. It's ridiculous, because wherever citrus is grown, like if you got Florida citrus, that all that sand that it's grown out of is calcium based. Okay, so everybody's worried about calcium, right? Anywhere where citrus grows, the dirt is high in calcium. So citrus is your teeth restorer. Is restorer a word? Your teeth restore, okay?
It will be now.
It actually is that's how we can restore teeth, is citrus. It's sucking on oranges. It's sucking on lemons. It's that kind of, and that's what I mean. It's like, and that information, I mean, is powerful, because that will protect you so your teeth aren't falling out down the road. You think you have teeth problems now. You think you got the root canals now. You think you got teeth problems now, gum issues, and you're afraid to, have lemon water. You're afraid to suck on an orange. It's just going to get you in trouble later, because the other part of gum health and teeth health is vitamin C.
Right.
Like that's
vitamin C is huge in dentistry and dental health. Huge.
Huge, right? What happens when somebody comes in with an abscess and they're like, oh my God, and they come in there with the abscess, and it's like, and the whole bit, vitamin C, right? It's like, first of all, you got to be on a lot of vitamin C.
Yeah, vitamin C is huge. I mean, you can get it obviously in fruit. You can get it with supplements, good supplements, good quality supplements. But vitamin C is one of the essential parts of dental health, for sure.
Remember when I was 14 years old and I was working on clients in the grocery store, I stocked shelves in, right? You guys know the story.
Yeah.
I talk about it in the Celery Juice, Medical Medium Celery Juice book. And I was juicing celery in the back for clients walking around the store with their carriages and stuff. And I remember one individual had a whole thing in the shed that was puffed out to here. They had a bad abscess. I said, you got to have the vitamin C. I said, you got to squeeze all these oranges, and you got to get an orange juice, little orange juice squeezer machine, right? They had some that time, and you can hand do it and everything. And I recommended lots of oranges every day. And the person said to me, wait a minute, that's citrus. It's going to do something to my gums and teeth. And they did the oranges, they did the celery juice, and the abscess was going down when no antibiotic touched it. They were about to literally go into surgery. They avoided their surgery. I
That's
mean,
amazing.
Yeah.
and I'm not anti-antibiotics when we need them for certain things. I'm about making sure we never have to get there,
Sure.
or we never have to rely on them all the time. We never have to try to do
Yeah.
that, and a lot of times they don't work. But so those abscesses, vitamin C is so important. That's why I like the Vimergy vitamin C. That's why I
Amazing.
like that one.
We do too. We
Yes.
recommend it to all our patients.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Vimergy
I
is a
mean
great
that
company.
it's a good quality product. So
Great.
it's the bottom line is when it comes down to the vitamin C, that's one thing you need. You need the minerals, like in citrus, you need the calcium. You got that. You guys are like experts in mercury removal, mercury filling removal. Like you guys pop those
Yeah.
out
We
All
do
day.
pop those out all
Yeah.
day.
all day long.
All day, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
which is how I even got to know
Yeah.
you.
Because you're getting exposed.
Because I was getting exposed to my blood mercury level was like off the charts, probably still is, off the charts. Because we removed them, broken amalgams, removed every single day.
It takes time to remove mercury out of your body when you're
Yeah.
getting it in every day.
Every
know.
day, we take them out every day, and people who come in with broken teeth, corroded amalgams, defective restorations that are just falling out.
Yeah, and
So I did the whole
Heavy
medical
metal
medium detox
Incredible.
for a long time, for a very long time.
incredible.
Yeah.
I had and that's incredible for anybody who's dealing with mercury issues. You do that medical medium heavy metal detox smoothie, you get it out. You guys get it fresh in your blood a lot.
A lot.
And so by having it every day, you're capturing it there. Most everybody who's not doing this, they're not getting it fresh in their blood all the time.
Mm-mm.
They got it in their liver, they got it in their brain. So you guys, you want to do that medical medium heavy metal detox because you want to pull it out of the brain, you want to pull it out of the liver, you want to get it out from those deep places. They're catching the mercury as it's in the bloodstream
Fresh.
right away, fresh, and they're getting it from the heavy metal
Yeah.
detox smoothie is going to pull that out and catch it fresh.
Yeah.
It's powerful. I want to ask you guys about root canals. You know, there's
That's
all this
a big
fear
topic.
out there about root canals, okay?
There's a lot of fear. I mean, every day we ask questions about root canals. People now want to pull their teeth that have been root canal in the past. Perfectly good root canals that were done well, exhibit no issues. People are scared. There's a lot of misinformation out there that it causes cancer, that it causes all kinds of chronic illness. Get those teeth removed. We don't believe in that. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that.
You know what? What happens is this: is that I always see it this way. If you don't get a root canal, what's your other option?
An implant or nothing.
Nothing.
An
Remove the
implant
tooth.
or a bridge, which sometimes you end up with implant. You get the bolts for the bridge.
Yeah.
You know, I forget what they're calling the stems or so. How, I don't know.
The titanium implant.
Yeah, like for the bridge, and then you need also the brackets, not the brackets, but you know, like if the bridge,
framework,
yeah, I mean, you need the framework.
which is made out of chromium cobalt. I mean,
Yeah.
it's another metal in your
Another
your
metal.
mouth. So I mean, I agree. I mean, we talk about this all the time. People always ask us. They come in, should we get my root canals out? What should I do? I mean, sometimes you need to take them out if
Yeah,
they're infected.
yeah.
You know, there's some reasons, but I mean, most of the time we say, you know, you want to keep your tooth because your other option is an implant, and sometimes an implant won't work. You know, and not having a tooth can be detrimental to your oral health, to your health all around. It affects, you know, occlusion, mastication, muscle tone. So we both agree, you know, root canals to keep them if you can.
If you guys come and see the dentist, then find the dentist who you trust, and we're not your enemy, but good people.
Yeah,
We
we're here to
promise.
help.
We're really here to help. Come in,
That's amazing.
find the dentist who you connect with, who you trust, and you won't get to the root canal. You won't need it because your cavity won't grow. You'll be taken care of.
Yeah, you'll get it before the cavity gets down to the pulp,
Exactly. Yeah.
down to the pulp of the root there. And you know, the thing is with the root canals is what I find all these years, all the people I've helped, is mystery jaw pain can lead to a couple of things.
Mhm.
It can lead to a root canal that shouldn't have been done,
Correct.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It could also lead to blaming a root canal that was done
Mm-hmm.
a while ago
And
in the
removing the
past.
tooth, and yet you're still having the issue.
Yeah, exactly. They remove the tooth, you still have the jaw pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you dig it out, clean it, still have the, you know, you redo it, you still have the jaw pain.
Exactly.
So this is something that I've run into all these years because I've gotten my source. I've been fortunate to have the source that I listen to. And if many of you people don't know what that is, you can research me and so forth and whatnot. Maybe I'll do a YouTube all about that someday. But the bottom line is that when there's so many people that have suffered with something that later on gets diagnosed as trigeminal neuralgia.
Yes.
And it might not even be diagnosed as that. You know, they'll have the pain that's, I've seen people with perfectly good teeth, you guys, perfectly good teeth, right? Just have pain, and they go to the dentist and they're drilling good teeth and doing root canals on good teeth.
It can happen.
Yeah, it can happen, right?
It's happened.
and so you need a good dentist to kind of catch, wait a minute, is there a real problem with this tooth, or do we have something going on in the jaw? So you want to go to different dentists. If you can't get to them, I understand, wherever you might be, but you want to go to different dentists and get different opinions, because you might catch a dentist that's like, look, I don't want to break into these teeth, because this jaw pain could be mysterious stuff going on that's still going to be there after the fact.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much, as you know, trigeminal neuralgia virus.
Yeah.
It's vital. Yeah,
the whole thing with trigeminal neuralgia, it's the shingles virus. I've talked about that. It's medical medium information. I put that out there a long, long time ago, still putting it out there. There's over 30 varieties of shingles, so you can't get confused by shingles, meaning in the sense where if you get a rash or not, because there's non-rashing shingle viruses. I mean, you can get a rash, you can get the shingles, and then it still become trigeminal neuralgia eventually. But either way, there's non-rashing forms of shingles, so you gotta know that this is behind it, even if you didn't have the rash. That's the trigeminal neuralgia. It could go. It basically could. The shingles virus can affect all the facial nerves. It can give you Bell's palsy. It cannot give you Bell's. It could just give you neuralgia. It could give you burning gums. Did you ever hear about the burning gums?
100%.
Man, I heard years and years and years of helping people.
Yeah.
And they go to 20 doctors. They go to a whole bunch of. Then he finally found me. And then I would be like, that's the shingles virus, and you need an antiviral protocol. And I talk about that in the medical medium books. I mean, I talk about that in the first book right here. I talk all about the shingles in the first book, in the medical medium first book.
Yeah.
And so
good.
Yeah. So
everybody has to read it.
The medical medium book. Of course, I gotta pull a medical medium book out
No,
here.
they're amazing. All the information is there. You know, everything is there. Absolutely. We
just
read
have
all
to
of them.
look. You have to look for the information, and sometimes you have to be your own advocate, and you have to just put the.
It's
the time
in there. It's all in there.
I mean, the liver rescue book. I will say I started with that one. There's a lot of information in there. It will completely change your outlook and everything. That was my first kind of eye opener. But this book is great too. I mean, they all are great. So they have a lot of information.
Well, I thank Spirit of Compassion, because that's the medical information. It's untampered with. It's untouched by the industry that pays for things to get done. So misinformation gets out there, both alternative and conventional. It's free from that. It's for the people to heal. It's the truth that gets them to heal. You know, it's the thing is with the trigeminal neuralgia, the hard part about that is that the agony people feel with that whole syndrome, and so you want a good dentist so things don't get worse and go into the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You know, with trigeminal neuralgia, it's really important.
It's tricky to diagnose. You have to know what you're looking for. It's not, you know, people jump to conclusions. It's teeth, it's gums. No, it could be something else. Wait a minute. Let's not start working on the teeth just yet. We're not sure why it's happening. Let's think about it.
Yeah, there's antiviral protocols you can do for trigeminal neuralgia. I talk about that. You know, I actually have I have a new book coming out. I'm trying to finish up. I'm working on. It's going to have, you know, things like that for different conditions, so you know what to do, what to take. So that is on its way. I mean, I'm doing everything I can to get everybody the help I can in any way possible. But it's like, so the whole thing with I want to cover a little bit more with root canals, I think. So the bottom line with a root canal is almost every dentist will blame bacteria somewhere hidden down in a root canal. Do you hear that sometimes?
We do hear it a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of information about, you know, saying that past root canals that have been already done harbor bacteria inside that's causing all these chronic illnesses.
All right, now I want to cut into this a little bit. This is really a good point. Okay, first of all, I want to tell everybody your chronic illnesses are not caused by a little bit of bacteria buried deep down in your root canal. It's not possible. First of all, that's bacteria that actually sits down there. if anything. And that can create neurotoxins for fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. It can create all these different issues. It can create multiple sclerosis, lupus, eczema, psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis. It can create, ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. It can create tingles, numbness, aches and pains, all these different things throughout the body. All, tics, spasms, anxiety, depression. When the root canal is blamed on depression, I've seen that. It's blamed on anxiety.
Yeah.
This is throwing darts at a barn door. I think that's that, or it's just a crapshoot or a guessing game, musical chairs, whatever you want to call it. That's what it ends up being. And people get really in trouble from that whole philosophy or theory that got around somehow in dentistry. That's really pissed me off because I've seen so many people hurt because of it. When there are real answers to why you're diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, there's real answers to why you have problems, and it's not because of a little bit of bacteria that supposedly could be at the bottom of your root canal. So we got to rip all your root canals out, people, so get rid of your ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, and your lupus, and your Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and that's your thyroid problem, and your thyroid problem is because of your root canals. Grave mistake. Your Lyme disease now is because your root canals. Grave mistake. I'm telling you right now, if you're running into that out there, I'm so sorry you are. This is a massive mistake in dentistry. I know so. These two know this. I mean, right? Is that like...
And this is huge.
And if I'm off, just shoot me down, man. If I'm off, shoot me down.
No, this is huge. I'm so happy you just said that because people call and come in with exactly that. Remove my teeth that have been root canaled in the past because it's causing my A, B, C, and D. No, it's not. No.
Yeah, and so this is important information. I mean, share this YouTube, share it out there, send it to people that have had teeth problems, that go to their dentist and they have all these questions. Just that I would pass this one around because it's that powerful and it's rare. They flew out here, okay? This is really rare. They flew out here, okay, from the East Coast. And they're out here on the West Coast right now, okay? And they flew out here to do this. They took time out of their schedule. Their schedule's so busy. They're working on a zillion people, and they shut it down. They shut down their practice to get out here to help you guys. And I remember being on the phone with you guys, and you guys are like, "Look, we just want to help people."
We do.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Truly, we
We
do.
just want to help people, and it's compassion that matters to me, and they have it. And so just know what you got right here. That I'm just saying, know that this is a really, really important day, an important time, and we're all lucky. I'm lucky that they're here right now. You guys are lucky because there's so much information. So let's go into some other stuff. Teeth sensitivities. Okay, so I want to go into that whole thing. Teeth sensitivities doesn't mean the tooth has a problem. That's what I've learned. From my information, from my source. And it's more of gum, it's more of nerve sensitivities. That's what it is. And it's not the food that causes a teeth sensitivity. That's another thing too. It's not lemon water that causes teeth sensitivity.
No.
It's not it's not foods that cause teeth sensitivities like sugar or something else. It's just it's sensitive nerves.
Exactly. We see that a lot as well.
Okay.
And it's important to antiviral protocol. We think everybody should be on it.
Okay. That's
We're
powerful.
Really,
That's powerful.
we really just even if you feel great.
And it takes time. I mean, you have to give. I mean, if you're in pain and sometimes we can't really. There's nothing wrong with your teeth. It's something viral. It takes time for it to build up. I mean, it took time to get the pain, so you have to be patient.
Reduce the viral load. Do the medical medium antiviral protocol. There's so much you can do.
So basically, a lot of problems we get in dentistry, a lot of problems we get with people going to dentists because they're sick, is because they got low-grade viruses or high-grade viruses. They got one of the Epstein-Barr viruses I talked about, one of the over 60 varieties that's out there, mutations and strains. They got that. They got one of the over 30 varieties of shingles virus out there. And if you guys think you don't have bugs in you, I hate to break it to you. Everybody's got bugs in them. I don't care if you're 20 years old, if you're 18 years old, if you're 25 years old, if you're 35 years old, you got bugs in you, and you'll get symptoms down the road. I always try to be the person to get that information out there in the sense because I want people to know now so you can stop it later and get better and protect yourself so you don't get something too. So, but the whole thing is what Masha's saying and Gina's saying is antiviral protocols. You want to be on antiviral protocols to protect yourself. so that you don't get sick, because what's behind everything, the teeth sensitivities, the nerve pain, all of this, other conditions we're talking about, what's behind it is viral loads, viruses. And the HHV6, the cytomegalovirus, the HHV7, the HHV10, 11, 12, 13, 14, undiscovered. All these viruses, undiscovered, many of them, many of their mutations, because I always talk about in virology, it's underfunded because virology holds the answers to get people healthy so that no one spends money in the medical system anymore. So that's why viruses are just, instead it's talked about, oh, microbiome now, or oh, it's candida, or oh, it's something else. And around we go every decade to the young people that come up into health, right? Let's reteach them about food combining again, so we go nowhere. Let's teach them about microbiome again, even though they did it over and over again for decades, and everybody still stays sick and they don't know it. Let's teach the young people about candida again. Let's teach them about this. And what happens is this whole circle is on purpose, and then all the practitioners, they just become innocently used for this whole thing. And then everybody, each generation has the same old crap information, and it's regurgitated and it's recycled, and no one gets better, and we break that here. That's the whole point. We need to break that. And so it's about having a viral load. It's about knowing that. It's knowing why you're tired now. It's knowing why you got floaters in the eyes and you're getting tingles or some numbness. You're getting a numb foot. It's the low-grade viral stuff. It's so important for you guys to understand if you're first, locking on to this. Let's cover some more dental stuff too.
Mercury fillings.
Yeah, well, hey, why not?
We get those questions every day.
Yeah.
Remove or not to remove?
Yeah, remove or not to remove. I'd love to talk about that if you guys are open to it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
A lot of our patients come into us and they've had these mercury fillings placed 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 years ago. That length of time in the mouth, which is acidic environment, heavy bacteria environment, they will corrode. They will break down over about 10-year period. So we see a lot of these fillings corroding, pulling away from the tooth, leaking saliva underneath, and decaying the teeth underneath. So if you have a defective filling, honestly, you have to have it removed. If you have a filling that's fully intact, we won't touch it. We'll leave it.
Wow. That's really
especially in the person who has symptoms and is chronically ill or something is going on. We don't want to push them over.
I'll never forget 1991. I'll never forget this. Okay, I think it was my first person that came to see me that had a whole mouth of mercury at one time. Right. Nothing was wrong with them. Meaning they were there. They weren't corroding.
Okay.
They were pretty fresh, right? Whole mouth of it. And they got told, this is right at the beginning. You know about the early 90s was right when get them drilled out. Right. Mercury's fillings are behind all of your sickness, right? And this poor woman, I feel bad till today. So she went to, it was before she came to me to see me. Before she came to my office, she had them all taken out. They were all drilled out, every last one of them at the same time. Something I say you never do at the same time ever. You never get all your mercury fillings drilled out at the same time. You guys have been saying this for years. I said it long before anybody knew it. And so she had them all drilled out, right? And then she had, I guess at that time in 91, she had the replacement that wasn't mercury. In the early 90s, it was a different kind of ceramic. Composite, right? So the composite's done. But she was sicker than ever. She was sick to begin with. She had them all drilled out because she had the chronic fatigue syndrome, which is Epstein-Barr virus. But nobody knew that then. They still don't know that now unless we keep on bringing that information out. And all that mercury vapor went into her system. So all the vapors from the mercury went into her system, from the drill outs, everything like that. It fed the virus. Her chronic fatigue syndrome got worse because it was so much mercury at once. They didn't even need to be drilled out at the time. There weren't any breaking down. There were none corroding. But get this. So she's sicker now. She's got the composites in. Then another dentist at the time said, we need to drill out all your composites. You're sick because you need mercury fillings put back in.
God.
They drilled all her composites out. This poor woman.
Oh my God.
God bless her. I swear to God, she went through hell and back.
Oh my God.
They drilled everyone out. They refilled them with all mercury. This is like 1991. Refilled them all with mercury again. I mean, it was an unbelievable process. I had to help her clean up the viruses because it was our only chance at that point to make sure we don't really get messed up bad. And I was just like, just antiviral, celery juice. Yeah, I was recommending celery juice that early. Absolutely. I mean, it came from spirit. That's just celery juice, heavy metal detox, all of it. We pulled out as much mercury as we can that was floating around, and then we went for the antiviral stuff. We attacked the virus, all the different herbs I talk about, like lemon balm, you guys know about, so that the chronic fatigue syndrome, that virus right there behind it, the Epstein-Barr, was knocked down, so it wasn't going to feed off of any more mercury. But she went through hell and back. So you guys are not into like drilling everything at once, all of it.
Never. Never. We break it up.
Yeah.
If the patient is healthy, has no symptoms, is completely nothing is going on, we can do maybe two or three at a time.
I mean, listen, if they're all connected and sometimes, you know, they're in between the teeth, you kind of have to do it all
Yeah,
at once.
because you're stuck.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
the stuff.
ideal, but it's something, you know, you kind of play it by ear and you see how you're feeling, and even afterwards, you know, sometimes we have to push out taking out more for a month or so.
Yes.
You kind of have to go with how you feel.
And put them on cilantro and the wild blueberries
Yes.
and have all of that.
Yeah, that's why a good dentist matters, because it's like you're going to be up against situations as a dentist that are, you know, the cavities were in a certain spot, you got teeth close together, you got all these things. You guys got to call, that's when you call the shots, where you use like your intuitive abilities, you use your experience, you use everything you got. And that's when a good dentist really counts, like you guys, where you guys are like, you really know how to work around that, because you're trying to not create a landmine, you're trying to fix landmines. You guys are dying out fires, and so it's powerful work you're doing. I mean, you know, I'm blown away to have you here.
We're blown away of being here.
Yeah, it's surreal being here with you, but yeah, it's great.
You know, the whole thing. So is with the mercury fillings and everything. So I've always said, look, you get 1 out at a time, the most 2 out at a time, depending whatever the situation. Sure. But I've always said that that's best to do. If they're fine and nothing's wrong with them, work on getting mercury out of you everywhere else in the body. Do the heavy metal detox throughout the body. Leave that alone for now, you know. And depending on what symptoms a person's dealing with, are they dealing with any viral symptoms? You guys want to know what viral symptoms are? Tingles, numbness, aches and pains, spasms, twitches, floaters in the eyes, numbness. I said tingles. Ringing in the ears, popping in the ears, black spots in the eyes that aren't because of the retina, you know, detaching, fibromyalgia, that's viral right there, 100%. Chronic fatigue syndrome, fatigue that's mysterious, that's viral. These are just some of them. Neuropathy, viral. Plantar fasciitis, viral. Morton's neuroma, viral. PCOS, viral. Endometriosis, PCOS. So if you guys want to know what viral are, anxiety, got a viral load, and some metals. That right there.
Depression.
You know, depression. Okay, so that's, you know, and then if you guys want labels for things like RA, MS, lupus, Lyme disease, viral. I talked about, if you guys are new to knowing the truth about Lyme disease, because you might not, Lyme disease was snuck recently because of medical medium information, powerful millions of medical medium books going globally. It freaked out the industry. So the Lyme industry changed their game because of medical medium. So just so you know, literally. And their game did this, and this is what they did. Because I brought it to the world with the millions of books getting out there and everything, because the people were healing. And I didn't get the books, all these books didn't get out there because I had help. It was because people were healing and they spread the word. So know the difference, you know. I didn't have money behind these books like all the money that's behind all the other, you know, authors and stuff. This is about people healing. That's why these books got around. And what happened is, the truth. I wrote about the truth about Lyme disease, and the industry decided to take Lyme disease now and take it out of the whole bacteria theory and stick it in the autoimmune theory group. So it's now listed as an autoimmune disease, which means it's mysterious. So they don't know what causes Lyme anymore. They actually thought it was bacteria. Now they don't. They had to do it because of me, and so which I'm actually proud of. I'm really proud of, absolutely, because it's going to heal that many more people. But the bottom line is Lyme disease right there. That's a viral load right there. Eczema, psoriasis, that's a viral load. So why is the viral load so important? It has everything to do with teeth, everything to do with teeth problems too. Because when you got high viruses, you lose your immune system, you lose your minerals, you lose all these things. You get your liver gets stagnant, sluggish, you get low bile, your acid reflux happens, low hydrochloric acid, and you're burning out your teeth, you get problems, and you think it's because you're plant-based and then whatever. And I always say, look, you know, I'm pro-plant-based, pro-veganism. I mean, if that's a term they even use anymore, veganism, vegan, I'm pro all that. I'm pro also animal protein, people that eat animal protein, good animal protein, I'm pro all of it. But I've always said, no matter what, you know, that in dentistry, the dental chairs are not filled with vegans across the globe because there's only this many vegans. There's only this many vegans. I know there's vegan YouTubers out there that are out there and they're into the propaganda of veganism. They don't like the animal protein people. And I know there's YouTubers out there that are vegan. I get it. You guys seems like big followings, but just so you know, there's this many vegans. It's this tiny. It's a grain of rice compared to a silo of rice. That's how many vegans there are. The rest are animal protein people, and guess what the dental chairs are filled with? They're filled with animal protein people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But for some reason, it's never blamed on their diet. You do one teeth problem, it's never blamed on the diet, but it's blamed on a vegan's diet. So if you're vegan, stay strong and stay vegan. If you're animal protein, hey, stay animal protein. I'm just saying that's what happens, and I want people to know who are vegan and plant-based that I got their back. 100%, because I know what they really go through. I know what they really go through because they get tricked, peer pressured in ways like never before. Even when it seems like they're strong as an ox, meaning emotionally strong about being vegan for 3 straight years. The minute they get that first symptom and their blood sugar's off a little bit and they go to a doctor or something, boom, they're gone. They're out of the vegan thing. They're gone. And I feel bad for people like that because I want you back into where you were. Because it wasn't your problem. It wasn't your problem. Your problem was viruses. Your problem was that kind of stuff, strep bacteria that people get acne from. Your problems were these other problems. Your liver being congested and tired. The fact that you weren't, as a plant-based person or a vegan person, you weren't drinking celery juice or lots of it. And don't fall for those people on YouTube that say I drank celery juice for 5 days and it didn't help me.
No,
you guys know you can't. You guys know you can't just drink celery juice for 5 days.
It takes time. It's been a year for me. It's more for Gina. We love it. Every morning we come into work. We have 32 ounces of celery juice on our table.
Every morning my husband and I are making celery juice, and it's subtle changes, but it takes time. You have to give it time, and I try and tell people that all the time. You're not going to see results right away. But I mean, even small changes, I've seen changes in my husband, myself, my girlfriends who do it. So just stay strong and try to keep course, and you'll see changes 100%.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is with the dental work is when someone's sick with chronic illness, and you guys know there's so many of you sick with chronic illness, right? You're visiting already your internist, you're visiting already your doctor, your GP, you're visiting your specialist, you're visiting your neurologist, you're visiting your endocrinologist, right?
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, you got to go see you're getting dental work.
Scary.
You're doing that too. Well, when you learn about how to take care of your health in all these other ways, you'll see the dentist less, you'll see the doctors less, and that's what it's about. I mean, that's what we want people to do. We want you guys not to have your whole life based around doctor's appointments, and unless it's checkups at your dentist, unless it's checkups or cleanings, right? Are cleanings good? I just always there's a question that always pops up that I hear all the time, like, are too many cleanings good? How many cleanings do you get a year? You know, that's a question that I'm always asked.
Again, find the dentist who you can trust, and we assess our patients, and we propose the timeline for cleanings. Some people come twice a year, some people come 3 times a year, and other people need to come 4 times a year. If you have heavy load of bacteria and viruses, and your gut health is not great, we see your teeth and gums deteriorating, so we need to monitor it. When we see that everything has improved, you don't have to come in as often.
Yeah.
You can come in twice a year.
I mean, the main thing is just to come in. Don't stay away from the dentist.
Dentistry is amazing. The field's changing. We do want to help.
I mean, that's why we became dentists. So you have to, in our office, our mantra is kind of, we want that trust with our patients. So find somebody that you trust, and go see them, because it's not that scary. And if you have questions, let us know.
I have people throwing this at me all the time. They're like, Hey AW, I don't have any toxic heavy metals in me. There's no toxic heavy metals in me. And you know what I say? I say, did you have a fluoride treatment? Did you ever? Yeah, I had a fluoride treatment. I had tons of them. Or no, I don't get fluoride treatments. But did you have 10 of them when you were a kid?
Probably.
And they're like, right? And they're like, yeah.
Pediatrician used to give everybody drops.
Yeah, exactly, right? Fluoride, byproduct of aluminum, right?
Mm-hmm.
A severe neurotoxin. But it's aluminum. Just because it's a byproduct doesn't mean it's not aluminum. Aluminum takes different forms. That's how chemistry works. So, fluoride is actually aluminum. It's just in a different form. And so when you're getting aluminum treatments, you have a lot of heavy metal in you. So I've had people say, Anthony, I don't have viruses in me. Yeah, you do. You do, because this happened to you. Anthony, I don't have heavy metals in me. Yeah, you do. How many fluoride treatments have you had? And that's just one aspect of getting metal in you. So what do you guys do? Do you guys do the traditional fluoride for everybody there, or do you? No, so you're basically groundbreakers. You're just yeah.
I think everybody's trying to move away from that now.
Everybody's heading there.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, and 5 years ago, everybody was prescribing high fluoride toothpaste. They were doing fluoride treatments every 6 months, 4 months, and the results are there. It's not really changing anything. So I think a lot of people are stepping away from that, which is huge in the dental community, because fluoride was the end all. Everybody thought it was going to cure everything.
When I fought fluoride back in the early days, see, no one realizes when they just get into health now. If you get into health now, you're an influencer in health because you're eating better and you want to show your videos, and you're an influencer and you got your first acne and you want to get it better by getting off of gluten. You don't know what some of us old dogs, you guys are young, but some of us old dogs have gone through in the old days. Like, for instance, I went up against the fluoride thing back when, and I was almost crucified for it. I fought for where we are today. In fact, what I've done helped us get to where we are, and I don't think a lot of people realize this or appreciate it, and I understand why. I totally get it. But the whole thing, man, I remember being screamed at by people coming to see me, their dentist calling me saying, how dare you question fluoride?
Right.
I mean, you don't know what we've went through. It's unbelievable. I mean, it was like every day was you help and save lives, but you get your ass kicked along the way every day, all day long, because you're up against old grandfathered laws that are evil and dark. And that's the whole thing. They're evil and dark because science and research thought they were on top of their game now, but they weren't. Science and research thinks they're on top of their game now, but they're not. Because even though fluoride isn't so used so much, science and research believes your body's attacking itself, your autoimmune is caused by your body, which isn't true. They believe your genes is all your problem, but that's not true. Your problems are viruses and heavy metals. And that's just two things. There's other problems too. But basically the fluoride thing, oh my God, the stuff I heard when I would try to protect people, or I would tell a mom, your child's got the worst case of Epstein-Barr, this is really bad, things are bad, or your child has a really bad case of strep, you can't do fluoride right now, they do a fluoride treatment, and then everything goes down, you know what I mean, downhill, doctors are, everything's happening. The thing is that the fluoride business, it was such an industry of just bankroll, and there's so many still left. You can't think we're safe because we're figuring things out now like that. There's so many other landmines and potholes and traps that are grandfathered in that we're up against today. Fluoride still, they're still using it. They're still using it. They're still using mercury fillings.
They're still using mercury fillings.
So the war is still on, but it's nothing like it was. But and then there's so that was the whole fluoride thing. I find that when you use neurotoxins like fluoride and you're viral, you just go downhill quick. So just don't ever do the fluoride treatments, and don't get tricked into the natural fluoride concept, because that's still not even the answer. That's based off the old fluoride concept. So what about that?
I haven't even heard of natural fluoride.
Natural fluoride. It's not the aluminum based ones. It's like the more natural concept of fluoride, like on that level, and they talk about it. They put it in natural toothpaste, I think now. They do other stuff. So it's not the real toxic, high neuroantagonistic level of aluminum. So I mean, I'm hearing some dentist was telling me about natural fluoride, and he was saying how natural fluoride it's safer. it's got, you know, I wouldn't just buy into it.
No, I mean, I haven't heard of it either.
Yeah. Well, no, good.
Good,
no.
Good,
Stay
good,
away from
because
it.
stay away from it.
No
Stay
natural
away
fluoride.
from it. It's because people are so invested in it still.
Mhm.
It's still
I mean, it's
something.
hard to let go of that concept when it's
It's
drilled
been
into
drilled into
everybody.
us.
I mean,
Yeah.
For
dental school,
generations.
that's what they teach you when you get out. Fluoride, you know, the Prevident, the fluoride treatments. That's what they tell you, and you know, it's kind of drilled into. So it's hard to let go of those old concepts, but
Yeah.
it's really not doing anything for you.
So what about gum disease? Okay, so some of the people out there and they're going to watch this, they deal with gum disease in different ways, and you know they get told that they're developing gum disease. Like, what's your recommendations when you're dealing with gum disease too? Like, how to keep your gums clean, how to stop them from progressing. Is avoiding certain foods helpful?
I think gum disease is definitely related to gut health. We do see it all the time. I mean, gum recession, just deteriorating gums, deteriorating bone, does correlate to your gut health. If you're eating a lot of processed foods, a lot of other foods that are not great for you, we do see it, and then your halitosis comes back, and all of that is intertwined. If you lower that pH, lower the acid from eating a lot of processed food. People drink 6 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah, they're still drinking coffee.
Red wine.
I notice a younger crowd still drinking coffee. They walk around with different coffee drinks all the time, and they try to use it as their intermittent fasting weapon. So what they do is they drink coffee all day, so they don't eat all day. So then they eat once a day. So they try to pull the intermittent fasting game using coffee all the time. And they're running around, but are they causing problems for the future?
They're causing problems for the
100%.
future because you're so acidic, everything is breaking down in your mouth. And
Okay.
it'll, maybe not today they won't see it, but in a couple of years they'll see it. When they're eating great food, when they're like, my great food is causing my
Must
gum
be fruit.
disease. No, it was the coffee you were drinking for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I believe it 100%. What about, this is a tricky one, what about chocolate though? You know, I always tell
That's a
people
tricky one,
that's
yeah.
try
It's
not
hard.
to overdo
It's
the
hard for me.
chocolate. That's a tough one. I know it's yummy, I know it's good, I know people like chocolate. I mean, I'm not anti-chocolate entirely. I just know though for adrenals, for spiking the adrenals, it's really intense. You got the caffeine, right? And so that's really hard. But what happens is that I always find is adrenaline can also cause teeth damage, and that's one thing. I don't even know if I talked about it recently on a show or anything, but adrenaline causes teeth damage. The reason why I say that is because right,
We see that.
You see that
People who are stressed out, whether they have a loss in their life or just stress around
work out a
work
lot.
or whatever is happening, stressed people manifest problems with teeth and gums for sure. And we always say, listen, are you under stress? Yes, somebody just passed away. I'm so upset. I'm grieving. And we see it every day. Stress will break down temporarily. A lot of times it's in waves, and then it'll come down eventually.
Thing is because adrenaline is corrosive. It's probably one of the most corrosive substances. And so, I talk about Medical Medium Book 1. This is so cool that I got the books right here. I just love this. I love this YouTube Live thing. I mean, I really love it. It's really cool. And I don't know. And so in this book, I talk about the 56 different blends of adrenaline. And what does that mean? Science research has no idea about this, but adrenaline just isn't your cortisol and epinephrine.
It's
not
awful.
It's not that. It's worse. It's when you have a loss, or you've been through hell and back, or you something's going on, or a financial problem, something is really pushing you, or you've been betrayed, backstabbed. Maybe a best friend betrayed you, because betrayal is really brutal. It's so brutal and hard. And I'm sorry if anybody ever experienced that. I just want to tell you that I'm sorry, and I understand, because betrayal is really rough. I mean, everybody experiences it at one point, but sometimes some people experience it worse than others. It's brutal. Trust, when we get our trust broken, when that happens, and someone just breaks our back of trust, and we're just like, where spirit gets down and we get hit, and you have losses and everything else. And what happens is when you're going through that, there's a different blend of adrenaline to these things. And so adrenaline sports, you got to be careful. You're going for, more highs with adrenaline sports. I mean, I love sports. It's the greatest thing ever. But if it becomes this thing where you're obsessed and it becomes an adrenaline-based, direction you head to, you'll shorten your duration of, you'll get other problems, because adrenaline is so corrosive. It's so abrasive that it works the bones, it works on our bones, it'll get you the osteopenia. I mean, especially if you have toxic heavy metals and high adrenaline, you get the osteopenia, you get different problems, you get the osteoporosis. Adrenaline is one of those acid dissolve, basically it's a dissolvent and a solvent in a way too, because it can run through bones. And so, and teeth are critical. Teeth are susceptible to this. So when you're
100%.
so we can't protect ourselves from every loss and from every betrayal and from every trust breakage and from all the hell we go through, whether you're young or older. And we can't protect ourselves from every bit of those things and relationships and everything. I mean, I've had stories of, a newlyweds getting married, they're 20 something years old or they're 31 years old or something in that realm, and they get married, and then the girl comes down with Hashimoto's thyroiditis and the boy's like, well, I didn't buy into this, I don't know what this is, and it scares this used to happen over the decades. I watched this for years, and all of a sudden they break up. And then what happens is it hurts so much you can't avoid all these different things. And I get this happens, but I got to tell you that when you take care of yourself, you can defend yourself from that adrenaline. You can defend yourself from that stress so that your adrenaline doesn't start taking down your teeth over time. Yeah. I've seen people go through a really trying time and hard time, and then the teeth become time capsules to what happened 4 years ago. The adrenaline really was high then, whipping you, really hurting them. Yeah. And then 4 years later, they're thinking it's everything else they're doing right, but their teeth are falling apart. When it was 4 years ago from a breakup they had, a relationship, or some kind of problem they had 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And that's how it works. And and so this information is so powerful to help you guys, and they're aware of it. So basically, there are things you could do, like the celery juice, to help protect you against the adrenaline from hardship, and the wild blueberries, and a lot of the medical medium information, the different foods I talk about. And here's the last thing I want to talk about: the no foods. What foods to stay away from? You guys are food experts. You guys are
only because of you.
You guys are doctors. You guys know how the world works. You guys all. What foods are you thinking about on your end? I mean,
well, we personally implemented the no eggs, no chicken, no dairy. That was a personal choice. Everybody comes to it on their own time. Okay. But we've seen differences, subtle differences, bigger differences. I've implemented it in my family, with my kids, my husband. Definitely celery juice, and the detox heavy metal smoothie is amazing. It's really great. I think if you stick with it for at least 30 days, which is so easy, you will see the difference. And
that's incredible, because because you guys have witnessed it yourself. That's the whole point.
We have. Yeah. And we walk the walk. We do it every morning.
I better start walking the walk a little bit more. I better get on it. I better I better up these. Start cranking them in.
It takes time to kind of make it a habit. When I first started doing your protocols, I was all about low carb, no fruit, egg whites every morning, because that was what my trainer was having me do. I mean, that's what you need. And it took time. I've been doing celery juice now with my husband every morning for 2 years. Did I see results right away? No. But it's just changed our life. My husband used to suffer from eczema. He doesn't have that anymore. I used to have just bloating issues. Everything is gone. It helps with whenever you're anxious about something, it just kind of calms you down. It's little subtle changes, and but start small. Start with the celery juice, and get rid of eggs too, because we all know why.
Well, the eggs will feed the viruses. That's why. The dairy products will feed the viruses. Okay, the gluten will feed the viruses. Nobody knew gluten fed anything until medical medium information came to town. They just thought gluten created inflammation somehow, but that's not how it works. The gluten has to feed a bug, the bug has to produce a poison, then you get inflammation, and that's information that only came from medical medium originally, and I hear doctors talking about it now because that's how many books got out there. But the point is that the no foods is critical for dental issues, for dental problems, for keeping yourself healthy, for making sure you don't fall apart down the road. No foods is critical. So whatever, if you believe in some animal proteins, eat them. If you believe in being plant-based, go that route, or anything in between. But just remember, keep away your eggs, your dairy products, keep away, of course, your gluten, duh. But, I say duh because, somebody will be like, oh, well, he, somebody else knew that probably before him. Let me tell you, I was telling people to get off gluten when I was 4 or 5 years old. 4, 5, 6 years old. And I'm an old dude, and that was a long time ago. I'm just letting you know. And so,
Eat some fruit.
you
People
know,
don't want to eat fruit.
so a lot of concepts out there now that have been out there because I spread them out. I mean, I've delivered that information a long time ago, and now they're out there, and people are trying to teach it back to me, which is hilarious, and I love that because it's good news. I'm so glad it got out there. But the bottom line is that no foods is important, so keep that in mind so you can stay healthy, not feed your pathogens, not feed your viral load, not cause any problems. But this was incredible, you guys. I'm blown away. I'm honored, and
we are too.
So are we.
And anyway, you can find these guys. You know their name, okay? It's the Dr. Masha Kogan. Yep, Dr. Gina Romano. Okay, they have a practice in Connecticut. We're in California right now. They flew out here, but they're worth a flight without a doubt if you guys need work, in my opinion. But I get it. If it's hard to get to your office, it's hard to get to your office.
Yeah.
But
Find somebody.
Find somebody out there.
They're out there. Dentistry is amazing. Don't be scared. Just find your person. You'll be great.
Just
Make
have
your
someone to
dentist
trust.
watch this.
Yes.
They'll watch this because we got two of the best dentists there are out there here. So I love you guys. All right. So I guess we'll call it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I appreciate everything. Appreciate you guys here, and thanks for being here. This is really an awesome time, and I say a legendary day, and in health. So awesome. All
It's
right.
awesome. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Gonna come over to the machine, and we're going here.